In this chapter we're starting logarithms, and so you have your logarithm form on the left side and your exponential form on the right side. We're familiar with exponential form. We're not so familiar with logarithmic form, but it's pretty easy to do. To transfer from log form to exponent form, I make circles. You'll hear me refer to circles quite a bit. So you have your log, you have your base. Your base is written as a subscript. It's kind of hard to see on the notes themselves, but the base is written by the G's tail. You have x here, and then your exponent. So the way that you make your circles is you always start at your base, cross over, and get your exponent, and then cross back to get the number. I call it the stray number, the number that's left over. And that's how you're going to do it. Start with your base, cross over the equals, cross back. So for this first one, I asked you to convert these from log to exponential form. You're going to start with your base, cross over, and cross back. Now actually writing it in that form is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the entire thing, 3 cubed equals 27. And that is a true statement. There'll always be a true statement in your answer there. But again, I'm not looking for 27, I'm not looking for 3, I'm looking for this entire expression right here. Okay, let's move to the next one. My base is 36. We'll cross over to get the exponent. So that would be 36 to the 1/2. We'll cross back to get 6. And that's your answer. Now you'll say, well, how do we check that one? You have to remember, and we're going to use this quite a bit in this chapter, you have to remember that a fraction exponent means radical. So in order to check this, what you have to remember is that 36 to the 1/2 is actually the square root, there's where the 2 goes, of 36. And the square root of 36 is 6, so that does check that answer. Remember, the answer that I'm looking for is here in blue. I've underlined it in blue. That's your answer there. Okay, the last one of these that we have has base 4. So I say 4, cross over to the -2, cross back, equals 1/16. And that's your answer. What you need to remember about this particular one is that a negative exponent means move. So a 4 to the -2 in the top becomes 4 to the +2 in the bottom, and 4 to the +2, of course, would be 16. Okay, let me flip back to our beginning page one more time. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is go from exponential form back to log form, and I do that more like a puzzle piece. When I get ready to do log form, I have 3 things that I'm looking for. I'll have a box here, a box here, and a box here. So when we start looking at our exponentials, the base is what goes in this box, and the exponent is what goes in this box. And so whatever's left over goes here. So when we start going in the opposite direction, that's the format that I use. So for this one, I asked you to convert from exponential to log form. Well, log form starts with log. Remember, I have 3 boxes. The numbers going in that box would be 4 and 3 and 64, and you have to decide where they go. Your base is 4. The base is what's underneath the exponent, and it is 4. So 4 goes here. Your exponent is 3, so it goes here. So the only number left over is 64. Now if I write this a little more clearly, you're going to have log base 4, 64 equals 3. Now it's easy to check by making the circles that we spoke of earlier. You could say 4 to the 3rd is 64, and that is true. I want to point out that the 4 is by the G's tail. It is a subscript. It is low. Do not put it with the 64. Okay, let's try our second one. There's my log because it's log form. The base is 3. The exponent is -2, so that's how we would start. And the only thing left over is the 1/9, so I'm going to put the 1/9 here. You'll say, do you have to put it in parentheses? You do not. I just put it in parentheses because it's easier to keep that 1/9 together that way. Okay, the last one's really tricky. You can't work it with the radical. Let me clean it up a little bit. It looks kind of bad. Okay, that's an 8. Now that's better, sorry. You have to clean it up, and I'm not asking you to say 2 cubed is 8. Don't change the problem. So what I can do, though, is write this 8 in a usable form. A cubed root radical is the same thing as a 1/3 exponent. Remember back on one of our first sections of the semester, this index here is the denominator of your fraction. So now that I've done that step and changed it to a fractional exponent, I can write my log. The base is what's underneath the exponent, so that would be 8. My exponent is actually the fraction 1/3, and the only number left over is the 2, and that's what my answer would look like. Okay, let's keep going. So then I ask you to evaluate all of these. So now I'm actually asking you to find a number. When you see a problem written like this, what I'm looking for is this piece right here. That's what I'm looking for. So we know that this 10 here is our base, and this is our number. So what's in question is actually the exponent. So for this first one here, I'm saying 10 to what power is 100. Now the answer is not 10. You're looking at exponents, so think of it. 10 to the 1 is 10. 10 to the 2 is 100. Well, that's it. It's 2. 10 to the 2 is 100. So that means that this answer right here is 2, because 10 squared is 100. Okay, let's try our next one. I'm going to pick a different color. 3 to what power is 3? 3 to what power is 3? Well, that would be the 1 power. So this answer here would be 1. Let's try the next one. 2 to what power is 32? 2 to what power is 32? The answer is not 16. Not 16. Okay, so we're not saying what can I multiply by 2 to get 32. That's not what we're saying. Think of your powers. So try 2 to the 1. That's 2. 2 to the 2. That's 4. 2 to the 3. That's 8. 2 to the 4. That's 16. 2 to the 5. That's 32. That's it. It has to be 5. So my exponent here would be 5. Okay, let's try the last one. 5 to what power is 1/25? Okay, well, I know it has to do something with 2 because 5 squared is 25. The rule that you have to remember is if you have a term on the bottom, the exponent there is negative. So 5 to the -2 actually means 1 over 5 squared, which is 1 over 25. So the exponent that's in question here is the -2. And that's how that part would look.